Seattle Rideshare Drivers Association, SRDA, was founded on August 13, 2014, following a strike of more than 700 Uber and Lyft drivers in Seattle. The drivers were demanding to get a fair share of their rides from rideshare companies. As a result of the strike, drivers elected a board of 7-member drivers to represent the interests of drivers and talk to rideshare companies. The board registered the association with Secretary of State of Washington on August 26, 2014, as a nonprofit association. The board called for drivers to shut down their phones and demanded rideshare companies sit with drivers to negotiate better pay. As a result of our collective action, we were able to get some of our demands met while drivers compromised in order to continue the fight. Since then, the SRDA has been active and operating within the drivers' community. We have helped give the drivers information about updates of Uber and Lyft policies and conditions. We've helped drivers with referrals to housing, interpretive service. Seattle Rideshare Drivers Association has been working with drivers' leaderships from different ethnicities to build a effective partnership that will address all concerns among the community we have partnered with is Somali American drivers, Ethiopian drivers, Chinese drivers, among others. Our current condition as rideshare drivers, Uber and Lyft, have been growing in Seattle and making millions of dollars off of our work, yet many drivers are in deep poverty and continue to grow desperate. There are drivers living and sleeping inside their vehicles. Others have trouble paying their rent every month because of rising cost of living throughout our region. Some drivers are forced to live very far away from the airport and downtown Seattle, where most of the rides originate. This puts drivers in a harsh traffic nightmare, forcing many to commute several hours every day. The drivers recognize that our region is facing a housing affordability crisis. The majority of drivers are living below the poverty level standard set by the state, city, and the federal government. This is according to internal calculations of the SRDA. As a result of low income, drivers have problems in many parts of their lives. Driver well-being must be the top priority of all stakeholders in the rideshare industry. Many of the drivers are living very constrained lifestyles given their financial circumstances, scrambling for housing, food, and healthcare. Many drivers were former taxi cab drivers who owned taxi medallions. These were their primary life investments, and at one point were worth upwards of $300,000. Taxi drivers borrowed huge sums of money to purchase medallions in order to operate their taxi business. But since Uber and Lyft disrupted the paid transportation sector, the medallions lost nearly all of their value, destroying the hard-earned assets of the taxi drivers and casting many drivers into deep debt. Drivers-to-drivers support. Throughout the lifetime of the SRDA, drivers have depended on drivers to help each other. For instance, many of the drivers are immigrants with families back home that have faced extreme financial difficulties. In these cases, other drivers will donate to the driver whose family needs immediate help. In other cases, a driver might suffer a death in the family, and the other drivers collect money to help with funeral costs. These efforts have been grassroots, led by the SRDA. We have stayed very well connected by many drivers simply because the reputation of the association is one that has strong expectations from drivers. Driver's Idea, a driver solidarity and resource center. Since Mayor Durkin announced her per-ride tax proposal, we've had many discussions among SRDA members. Many drivers have suggested they would like to get more help and support toward their well-being. They feel strongly that revenues raised from our work should go to benefit the drivers. We believe that at least 50% of any monies raised through taxes or fees on Uber and Lyft rides to go toward a driver solidarity and resource center to support the needs of drivers and our families, and to build our voice. Our Driver Solidarity and Resource Center will be run democratically by drivers to serve drivers' needs. Drivers will come together to advocate collectively for our rights within the rideshare industry and to get services that are essential to our survival, including membership meetings and collective driver advocacy, multilingual workshops and trainings on rideshare company policies, rideshare customer service training, advocacy, and training to challenge driver deactivation, voter registrations and voter rights training, immigration and neutralization assistance, driver family assistance and support services, counseling and mental health care, suicide prevention services, English language training and education, legal referrals and law clinic, emergency driver and family assistance. Drivers believe this Driver Solidarity and Resource Center will benefit drivers and our entire community. The Seattle Rideshare Drivers Association has collected signatures of drivers in favor of establishing such a center, and without this proper voice, we believe drivers' lives will continue to suffer. We have collected signatures of more than 300 drivers on support of our effort.